Going live again, man. Hey, sorry about that, everybody. But where I live, I'm just happy to be online ever at any point ever.
Yes, so your whole thing about 150 miles from the North Pole should also say, and about 1,000 miles from any connective, connections that are capable.
It's a ways away. I actually use a phone. I pay about $450 a month for my internet, and I can't stream video. I can do this. This is pretty good. BeLive is pretty good about keeping the bandwidth fairly narrow. The download amount I upload at 3 megs a second, as opposed to 50 or 100 for like normal humans. So
Is there a way
anyway,
to do so? I know has nothing to do with 20 books, but way back in the beginning of the internet, when all we had were telephone lines, there was something called shotgunning. Can you shotgun?
our phone line is. They told us we actually have a physical phone line that joins the house. It's 20,000 feet from the nearest DSL router,
Hmm.
and the DSL routers are only good for a mile. So unless they
No.
put a new router closer and shotgun, what do you mean?
Okay, so in this case, what it meant is that you actually had two internet connections that were piggybacking on each other like a shotgun and doubling your bandwidth. So if you actually went $900 a month, could
I
you do
I
better?
I have two separate actual connections. I have a MiFi as well as they had a sale on a phone, so I got a phone for the same cost as the MiFi to get the same amount of download. And no,
You could have just said no.
so no, I pay 450 for 80 gigs a month, which with other things it downloads pretty fast, surprisingly. So
All right. Well, there you go. That's what you get for being so far away that not even politicians want to be near
yeah,
you.
yeah, it just is. So we were talking about 20 Books Vegas and what it'll take. Price may go up when we move to a new venue, and things may not be as smooth as what you're going to find this year. But
If
we
yeah,
will
if
we will accommodate.
Now, one of the things when I wasn't talking to anybody, but I was just waxing, waiting for you to get back on, was the whole opportunity that if we like what happens this year, it doesn't stop us from doing something where we have multi locations. We could actually plan that out to where now we can move to a small venue that is costing way too much money, but some people might like that. But there'll be the separate church, so to speak. Although I'm probably going to need to get off this metaphor. Um, like if we shipped it to Cannery, the video, then we've got another few hundred. But we could also go to Green Valley, that's not that far away, and you could Uber between the two of them within 10 minutes or something. So, or even Sun Coast, which is way the heck on the other side of Vegas, but is a completely different experience and more expensive, by the way, but
And,
could
and Sun
hold. Hmm?
and Suncoast is a Boyd Gaming property, right?
Yes, yes, that one is a Boyd Gaming property, and it would, the rooms are going to be more expensive, especially the suites, but it's a beautiful location with an outside shopping center right across the street from it. So it's one of those things. We're trying to see what we can do in order to make the experience great, because even when we have people here at Suncoast, a lot of people still stay on the strip. They stay in other places and they'll come in for the event itself. So it's not like it's not being done already.
Yeah, we'll make it work, but we're already checking because 18 months is not too early to start locking a place in because they go and we'll find the least populated week like we did this year, and that's why we got such a great room rate because they were expecting nobody, and all of a sudden we filled their hotel, completely filled their hotel. So it's good news all the way around.
Excellent. So what are some of the questions that we might want to go through? Do you have?
And and if you could, when you post in Facebook, please put your name first so I can see it because otherwise I don't see who posted it. Just says comment from Facebook. So the
Hmm.
we'll have breakouts, and let me explain some things about my terminology regarding the show. I call it a show. I call it a conference. That those are identical to me. because you're going to sit, you're going to watch presentations, whether they're panels, roundtables, breakouts. What is a breakout? It's anything that's not in the main room. So a breakout session could be anything. A panel is a bunch of people sitting behind a table talking to you. A roundtable is the same thing, except generally there's probably more questions for a roundtable. I'll call a panel a roundtable, and a lot of synonyms in my mind. You're going to a show to talk with your fellow authors. Everything else is generated from that. Sometimes it's a presentation, but at all times you should be able to ask a question, unless a presentation runs long, and I use the shepherd hook to drag the presenter off the stage. Then you don't get to ask questions. But we'll have microphones set up with a single line. Don't yell your questions from the audience, so everybody can hear what your question is. Use the microphone, and whoever's presenting, whatever panel, will get you the answers.
Okay, so let's unless there are more things specific about the 20 books event, I presume that most of the 700 people that came last year will be back. So, it'll be easy. It'll be good. You don't have to stay for everything. You can hide in your room if you need to, relax. But the sheer energy of what's going on tends to help a lot of people who believe that are still having a hard time believing it's possible. It's possible.
Look through all the comments for folks who say their lives have been changed, not by the conferences as just 20 books, the concept, and the Facebook group as a whole. Lives have been changed because they didn't believe, and sometimes all it takes is just believe, a little hope that we can do this. Look at how many people have gone to full-time authors, have become have turned to being full-time authors and are making a go of it. Some people have done that and then had to go back and get a day job, and it's okay. There's a lot of, it's not easy, it's hard work, but if your books sell, then you can always use that to supplement your income. Even if you're writing part-time, you publish one book a year. Nobody cares. Nobody's judging you on one book a year. You have to feed your family. Whatever you need to do to feed your family, that comes first. And then everything else is secondary. So you get out a book, supplemental income. How do you make sure that that provides enough that it doesn't cost more than you get from it? Because then it's a hobby. And I'd like to think that all of us have the capability of being professional authors. I don't look stunned. That's my face. That's my face.
You have a very stunning face, Craig. We'll just do it with that.
Let's see where we are. Do we have any questions, Michael?
Well, one thing I'd like to talk about, and you and I mentioned this after last week's call, was actually kind of going through the 20 books, and was there anything that was in the 20 books that caught our eye? And I was reading through, and I noticed one of the comments related to a person that was feeling pretty down, that was ready to get, not being a full-time author. And when you read further into it, you realize that one of the challenges that this person had was they're writing in a very niche audience that doesn't have a very wide following. And there were a lot of good things going back and forth. There was certainly support for, it might be just your time to go and try something else. There's nothing wrong with that. Another individual said that, I was feeling that way, and I decided researching right to market. And the response back to the right to market, which has helped quite a few people actually, make income. Right to market is nothing more than finding a large audience that is voracious in the reading and providing them a product that they like to read. That has everything to do with marketing itself. If I want to sell something on the car part, it'd be a lot better if I sold tires than it would be if I sold this one little trinket that is on a very unique 1967 Camaro that's only, was done half the year. I'm not going to have a very large market. Having said that, I could still make money if I find the people that are about that little bitty niche. It just takes a lot of freaking effort to do that. So it's very easy for those of us that have chosen, let's say, urban fantasy, strong female heroine. We understand what the tropes are. We have all of the research right there in front of us if we care to do the work. And a small amount of a large group of people is still a viable income. Yet if you have a niche market and you don't know where they are, well, guess what? They don't know where you are either. So it's your job to get in front of them. They're not going to come looking for you for the most part. And you're going to have to spend that effort. Now, even then, doesn't mean you're going to get a viable income from it or something that's going on. Um, the one caveat to what I saw, and I've heard this a few times by individuals that have niche markets, is that they don't want to write to market because to some degree it feels like a sellout, or it feels it's just not what they want to do. And my question, and this is a viable question, is have you tried to wrap what you love to write within a palatable gift box to what they want to read so that at least they try out your stuff? Because that's kind of where it is. Just because you have a unique market, and I do believe some people are hung up with that term unique, a unique market, it doesn't mean that others in the bigger market wouldn't read it. And I speak a little bit to Death Becomes Her. Death Becomes Her is a paranormal sci-fi action adventure space opera. It's not just paranormal. And yet I branded it as paranormal, and they got to learn about the sci-fi part halfway through the book. And so I actually, a more niche market. Now that first book has sold 150,000 copies. And so, we built an empire, if you will, on this somewhat niche thing, but I didn't market it as a paranormal sci-fi in the beginning. I still don't, for that matter. So, consider that. And Craig, you've mentioned quite a few times, J.K. Rowling is still advertising. If there's one individual who probably doesn't need to advertise, it's her. Yet there's still market for her. So if there's still a market for her, then there's still a market for all of us. But those of us that understand, we have to be discovered, and it's not the reader's problem to come find us. It's our problem to be in front of them to be discovered. On to you, Mr. Martelle.
It's the Venn diagram of what you like to write and what readers like to read. And that's, if you can get that overlap, find that sweet spot, that's where you're going to make your most money and keep enjoying what you're doing. So that's Michael addressed it as well as it could be addressed. I do have a question I see from Audrey Huey that it's important, if you stay in Samstown, that you stay in Samstown. If you stay at the Eastside Cannery, anytime you go out of Samstown, there's going to be homeless on the street. It's Vegas. No matter where you go in Vegas, there are going to be some. But on the strip with the main hotels, they keep those areas moving. And you'll still find homeless begging and stuff like that, and people trying to give you cards for with picture women on them. So if you want to go to Eastside Cannery, you can take an Uber or drive. There's free parking at both locations if you're the wheel person. So Audrey, you should always worry about your personal safety, but not when you're around us. We have Samstown taken care of. And yes, we did have somebody have their wallet lifted last year. So the just personal safety and responsibility in that regard. I always keep my wallet in my front pocket. So yeah, we're gonna get a rise if somebody sticks their hand in there, and if and they're not gonna find very much. I mean, just a few business cards, stuff like that. Anyway, so be wise, and also don't travel by yourself. Just always go someplace with somebody else, and you're going to find a lot of companionship. We're going to have 1,000 people in Samstown, so there will always be somebody going your way. Party on.
And for those of you that are concerned, that are actually new, I don't know if a few people, because you do this from time to time, but Craig, if you could put in 20 books, last year was my first time, and here were my fears, and here's what really happened.
Yeah.
Because I am a firm believer that the value of 20 books to 50K has everything to do with the relationships. And yes, the speakers are important, and everything else is important, and you'll get a chance to actually, get some FaceTime with Amazon and all these other people that are going to be there. You still have to come out of your comfort zone to approach them, and they are gracious. And this includes everybody. This includes Draft to Digital. This includes BookFunnel. This includes Publish Drive. This includes everybody that's up there that's willing to be there and speak to you. We are mostly a group of individuals who I would like, after 20 books, I like to just hide in my cave. I'm done. I'm spent. I don't want to see people. And generally speaking, I'm a fairly outgoing person, but I still have that proclivity to just shut out the world. I have to work on it. So Craig, on the other hand.
Oh man, I'm a social butterfly. Yeah. If you see me after like 6 at night, that would be amazing. we're all the tribe. There's no small talk. That's the big thing about 20 Books Vegas. You don't see people walking vacuously glad handing. Hey, how are you doing? I care that you're doing well. Not that. It's like, hey, I see that you write urban fantasy. I do too. And that's everything revolves around writing books and stuff like that. Nobody cares what color your hair is, what car you drive. Nobody cares about any of that. What they care about is that you're a fellow author. And we are going to own Sam's Town. We're going to have 1,000 people in there. We've reserved, I think, 500 of the 610 rooms. So woe be those people who aren't authors are going to be trying to troop around our hotel and taking up space in our atrium and watching the monkey show,
Monkey
our
show.
monkey show.
So Will is asking, is there anything that you're doing or hope to do to facilitate those who have a hard time talking to each other?
Actually, Terry Mixon is looking at having a session for how to do exactly that on the night before. He was looking at doing something in Independence Hall of how do you manage a conference if you're a first timer. So look for that. We'll get something on that later. There's a lot of time. That's the great thing about this. We have time to do stuff because once time is wasted, you can't get it back. So,
I thought you were going to go with drunk. Once wasted, there's
yeah. Once wasted, that's it. That's when you're at your best. So yeah, free beer starting off every day. No, there will be no free beer. Don't quote me on that. Terry will be talking.
There's one free beer.
One free beer for me. The old timers, people who've been at least last year, they'll be able to tell you, and there will be a lot of them. So probably one out of every two, they'll have been to one of these before. And so they'll have that experience of, oh, hey, here's how it was. And we are shooting for the same flavor, even though we'll have a little bit different breakout and just a few more people as the conference continues to grow by more than 50% each year. So
one thing that will be this.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
I'm sorry. So this year I'm going to do a Ask Mike Anything, which really means Ask Mike Anything about publishing, because there are some things I'm just not going to answer. I don't intend to have that one streamed, just because at 10 p.m. at night I have no freaking idea what I'm going to be saying, so I really don't want to have that one out there for posterity. But if you can stay up and you're willing to, I'll be in one of those rooms and we're, something else a little bit different, just to be able to answer questions in a more intimate environment, because I am often talking with people. And what's really nice is that everybody is so damn polite, but unfortunately, when they see me talking to somebody, they won't stand there so that I can answer a question for them. They'll keep on moving, and then I'll hear after the event, oh, I was so close, but I wanted to talk to you. And I'm like, why didn't you? I'm there to be asked questions of. That's why I'm taking my time. I live near Sam's Town. It's 25 minutes away from me, but I stay at Sam's Town because I get up and I'm there, and I go to sleep and I'm there, and it allows me to maximize the amount of time that I'm working there to be with people, because it is something I believe in. Changing a life, $200 a month for someone to make money off of books is a hell of a benefit, I believe, for some people.
There's a lot of different categories of make a difference in my life. Some people need 40 grand or something like that to make a difference in their life. I mean, I was a lawyer before. It's okay. I didn't need the big amounts of money, but what's overwhelming is the movement of self-publishing, especially the professionalism that we bring into 20 books for 50K. Michael set the standard. Instead of giving the double-digit salute to those folks who were irksome, shall we say, less than believers of truth. Hey, I say something and instantly people want to fight. Now, we don't need that bullshit. So we come over, Michael formed 20 books to 50K. A few of us came over with them, and and we said, hey, we just want to talk about publishing books. What's it take? How can we make money at this thing that we love to do, which is writing stories? And so here we are 3 years later. I think it was beginning of March, end of February of 2016. And here we are 3 years later. And if you want professionalism, you want drama-free author business, come on over to 20 books to 50K. And this is the conference as well. We don't have there were tears, but there were tears of joy, especially seeing the mountains of bacon at the buffet. But and some people were overwhelmed by the number of people, and that's okay. That's why getting a room in Sam's Town was so important, because then you could just go back to your room for an hour or two and then come on back down. It's all about making you comfortable with this thing that you're doing as a profession. And if you sold one book to a stranger and they paid for it, you are a professional author. That's all it takes. That's our gate. That's our rite of entry, rite of passage. So you've done that. Join us. And if you haven't written that book yet, come on and join us, and we'll help you get there. And we'll help you get there by providing the information. You still have to do the work. There's nothing easy here. I remember when Michael first started, it's like, hey, hack the process. Well, still means a lot of work, but work smart. Work smarter, not harder, which I completely have disdain for. I would much rather work 24 hours a day than actually learn something and put it into use and save myself some time. So like moving someplace where they have high-speed internet, which is only a mile and a half down the road, which irks me no end, because a mile and a half down the road they have, and GCI up here has a 1 gigabyte fiber that you can get. 1 gigabyte.
Look, sounds like a personal issue that you just need to freaking move. I mean, come on, stop bitching if you can make it happen. Sell more books.
But 1.5 mile, now I'm within their air pollution limits and all this other weird bullshit. I like being out here, man.
Stop, Squawk. Well, then that's your situation, man.
12 acres all to myself right here. So here we are.
Okay. All right. So a couple of things that went up. First, Mary Crawford, excellent, three-time champion. Now, one of the things that I see from the notes, because I now have a 34-inch widescreen. I'm like, oh. But anyway, I hope no one took a screenshot of that. But anyway, so
you can always later. We're recorded. You can always take a screenshot later.
I know, but I almost got you to snort coffee. It was great. But one of the things I'd like to see, I don't know if it's possible, even if people want to, but if we had a sticker that said, I've been here before, come talk to me, and just, is like, hey, this person, if they have a yellow sticker on their badge, talk to them. They are there to be talked to. And so, it's like, hey, they're already saying, I'm approachable. Talk to me about urban fantasy. Talk to me about paranormal. Talk to me about romance. Talk to me about something,
Some bitch, I better write that down.
We'll
just something else to just to make sure.
Yeah. Because I do see that. It's sometimes all we really want as those that are introverts is we want permission to interrupt someone's life. That is one of the biggest hurdles I feel whenever I'm at an event, is like, how do I talk? And if these things talk to me about urban fantasy, then the correct response is, hi, I'm Mike. I'd like to talk to you about urban fantasy. That's it. Now you've opened. What in the world would you like to talk about? We have a bunch of these things, and I think it'd be interesting. I don't know. I know that we can't do it, but if you, I've noticed some people have their covers printed on cards or anything like that. Attach it, because I might not recognize your name, but I might very well, and I did this last year, I recognize somebody's book cover. I'm like, oh, that's you, because I'll see their book cover all the time. And so, so that's another way of getting people. And of course, I can't wear mine. Mine would be a damned wallpaper. But
we do have a number of cover artists coming. Yes, they're authors, but I think their real love is in cover arts. We're not going to give them a separate table to answer questions and do stuff like that, but there will be a cover panel, and they will be visible. I recommend they do that. So if you have any questions, just hunt them down, make themselves visible, just like we want to do with Drafted Digital. And we do have one rule: don't hunt people down in the bathroom. Let them go. Wait for them outside.
Yeah, really.
For men, it's you want to carry on a conversation at the urinal. I don't. Unless you're in the stall, and then I'll just yell at the wall and let it bounce off to where you are in the stall. That's really cool.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
So don't hunt people down there, but look for people, and we have on the badge we have name and genre. So don't write genre so small that people can't see it. So choose your poison wisely.
Yeah. Ashley says there should be a 20 books motto. Stop bitching if you can make it happen. That's for you, Craig. And you're 1.5 gigabytes.
Yeah, I have no gigabytes.
Say something. A flash fiction. Actually, Ian, you mentioned that a flash fiction competition. We thought about that 2 years ago, and just the sheer quantity of trying to make that happen and who's going to judge it, and all of a sudden you have all these problems. We're like, that's too hard. So
people are there for the show and to network. So having a competition like that, then certain people would go back and be in their room and miss out on the opportunity to talk to people,
yeah,
or to see another presentation, or to be a participant in a roundtable. And we didn't want to put that burden on people. We did originally, but that's when there was 100 people, 150 people, and everybody could break out together and go back to their room and recharge and jam a few words. But these things are so, I will say, intense, but not in a bad way, for introverts to be overwhelming. There's going to be a lot of people, but everybody's an author. Look for the black and gold lanyards, and there's a reason they're black and gold. Look for the black and gold lanyards. People will wear them in Samstown, and you'll see them. You'll see their name. Make sure the name is big enough to be seen. Yeah, I think I have mine here. I think, yeah, I've got mine here as well.
So this one was this one last year? Yeah, this one's last year. I have all these damn lanyards over here, and so it's slightly funny story. Some of you might know this already. So the first year we show up and we get these lanyards, not quite this nice, but we get these lanyards, and I look at them and I'm like, black and gold. I don't know, maybe that's just the cheapest color that he did, because I had no predisposition toward any colors or even think about it. And I find out much later after the fact that our 20 books lanyards, this black and gold, is all about Martelle loving the Steelers, Pittsburgh. And I'm like, that's how we got our color change? Lord.
That's how we have perpetually earned black and gold lanyards. And I like the ones last year. Those are really nice, and they really weren't even that much more.
No, so, they're not. But what the hell is this for? Is this? I mean, why does it pull apart? I don't know the value of it.
Oh, that's a breakaway, so you can take your badge and stuff off if need be, if you're going outside or something like that, or in a private session.
And yet,
well, because some people will have put their room key on there or something like that. There may be other reasons.
Oh, well, that makes a whole lot of sense. If you were to add more shit to it and then just pop it off and use it and put it back on. Oh, that makes sense.
Your radiation detector, whatever it might be.
Yeah. All right. I get that. Huh.
Yeah, because these aren't just for badges. What other?
Okay, so we have people voice recognition. Script. Oh, that's something that we actually should talk about a little bit. 20 Books has become, at least 20 Books Vegas specifically, has become one of the places to come to, even if you don't go to anything. It's become a meeting place because Vegas itself has flights from around the world. Everyone comes here to party and do everything else. So airlines and hotels have a lot of opportunity to come here, and it's cheap. So there are groups that have learned that they do come, they do buy the tickets, and they'll go to a few events, but oftentimes they're sequestered off over in TGI Fridays, or, and Samstown is actually quite large, or some place where they're getting their team together and talking for a day and a half of the 3-day conference. And so we'll see that. And, Cannery, I'm sure, I have never been in Cannery, so I should go over there and go see what it's like. But I would imagine there's other opportunities, to congregate and be together in what is one of the biggest events for indies.
It has grown. I mean, it is I'd like to think that it's the premier conference in the world for self-published authors. There are other conferences that are more focused. There are those that have earning limitations in order to get in. And that's we don't have any of those gateways that you have to pass through, except your dedication that self-publishing is what you do. We don't want any trolls. We don't want any people coming who have no interest in self-publishing. And I especially like the number of spouses this year. This year we have had a great number of spouses who are joining as part of the team. oh, my husband doesn't write, but he's going to be the marketing guru. Hey, that's great. And
Yeah.
I can't emphasize that enough that the team that does it together, you're going to really excel. We have a husband-wife panel with three extremely successful couples on it, and we could have 10 couples because there are
Which
so
ones?
many,
So we got
so many of those.
James,
We've
right?
got
James and Jeanette.
James and Jeanette, Dakota and Danielle, and Kevin and Rebecca.
Okay.
But we could also have Dean and Chris,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, by the way,
we might
I
ask
like they
them as
just
well.
randomly said that Kevin and Rebecca. So you're missing the fact that so we're talking, James A. Hunter, right? James Hunter and his wife Jeanette, Dakota Kraut, his wife Danielle, and then Kevin J. Anderson and his wife, New York Times bestselling author Rebecca Moesta. So you're really talking a wide range of experience here for people who understand what's going on.
Yeah, Kevin's only sold. I think he's got 23 million books in print. I think Dakota's up towards a million a year in revenue. Little things like that, and they're husband wife teams. They
Yes.
both do their own thing, but then they do them together as well.
And
And Dean and Chris, they both write differently, but they're both wildly successful, and they're a team.
I like ask if you get a chance, ask Jeanette and or especially Danielle how often they make sure their husband are typing. I get such a kick out of that. It's like, what are you doing? Why aren't you typing?
Why aren't you working? Write the story. Write the story.
That's right. Motivation. So those are some awesome things that are going up there. We will generally get there early, so we'll be there Monday. We do different things that are going on. It's a hell of an event. We will be there late. We're Friday. We're going to be doing some things too, just randomly different stuff. I suspect that a lot of people are attaching vacations to both sides of this. That's happening all the time now as people come in. And last year I was talking to people where the wife and the child were coming in on Friday after the event, and they were moving off and enjoying things. And I can't explain how cool it is to me to see that people are pulling together and making something really neat out of this thing that, Craig, you started. With the conference is you coming to me going, can we do a conference? And my comment was, I'm happy to do a conference if you'll.
I'll show up. You do all the work. I think those were your exact words. I think they were.
Have I not showed up around the world though?
Anywhere I asked, and except 9 a.m. in London, you didn't show up then.
I was willing. The body was weak and asleep.
So I can hold that one forever. Haven't I always? Yes, except that one time.
No. I was there. I wasn't there, but I was there. Now, when I came in.
And of course, you had to get the luxury suite too, which is like 2 counties over.
I didn't know that. And the luxury was a bit of a misnomer there. But it was literally the furthest away it could be and still be part of that hotel. And I get there and I so I've got an author body now that we're technically working on reducing, but I get there and I am dying. I threw on clothes and everything in like 3 to 4 minutes. I race across this hotel. I'm getting there. And then I see Craig up there and he looks over at me like, you asshole, why aren't you here earlier? And then he goes, yeah, you can just sit there for a minute. You need to gain your breath.
Yeah, so I'm pontificated for 10 more minutes. That's and kept getting the cues from Paul Teague because he was recording it for us. Thanks, Paul. And he's like, too far, because I was going outside of his screen window. And so he actually put tape on the floor. So don't just stay in here because I pace. Michael paces too when he's speaking, and that's a great thing about Samstown Live. We have this huge stage. We're going to move the camera closer this year, and something else we're going to do is we're going to have better feeds to the videos, and the feeds like in between sessions. It won't say Boyd Gaming. It'll say something cool. 20 Books is like the coolest group ever kind of logos.
Or actually, we intend to do some fun things. So we have plans for that, Mr. Dawson. Plans for that.
Oh, yeah, they're talking behind my back, and probably in a good way. It'll be good.
No, we're not talking
We
behind the back. It's just he went and did shit over in SPF, that group, and then, I had to counter it. But he's coming into our house. Our
Yes,
house.
this is our house. Yeah, like Amish cyberpunk, like Alex Newton got me last year. That was cool. I still have that. the, there's so much going on, but this is one thing. We don't have a committee. Actually, what I found, I've run a lot of shows before I did anything with self-publishing, and having a committee just really grinds things down. So my heart's in the right place. I answer to Michael if anything we do, we talk about it. We make sure that it's above board, and that's the most important thing. If you're not trying to bilk the crowd, generally you're going to do the right thing. So since we're not doing that, since we don't make any money off these, it everything we do is for you guys to give back, to make sure that folks get the most out of this show, and that's what we want to do. I like the badge things. If somebody wants to put a sticker saying I'm a new person, we'll do that. We'll have those badges, those stickers made. So when you check in, just say, yeah, I'd like this is my third one. I'd love to be a Shell Answer Man. Get a sticker, throw it on there. Cover artists, make yourself those cool little ribbon tags that they have. All the shows have them. I know Chris Kennedy Publishing. He did one. I've got one. I've got one from Chuck Tingle. Yes.
So are you? Uh-oh. Or this is dueling badges or something?
I'm wearing pants.
Well, yeah, so am I, thank goodness. But anyway, I mean, nice to know since I could mostly have told anyway. Yes, that's what I was talking. So, are we talking these? Because sometimes these things come off real easy, but these from WorldCon are like, holy crap, they're really on there.
Well, and the one Chris Kennedy, I'll get with Chris. Let me make another note and ask where he got these, and we'll try to get the same things made, because this is on there and it never left. And this is Dragon Con, which was incredibly look at nominee, incredibly painful to and you're rubbing across people whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah. So actually, these are fun. Of course, I preferred actually that part of it. That was really cool. But yeah, I've got a whole thing of these things. Oh, yeah, no, that's BookBub. That's red. Martelle gave me shit earlier. I think it was at London Book Fair, and I was wearing whatever one that they give me, and he's like, why aren't you wearing the 20 books to 50K yellow and black? I'm like, because I didn't think about it. What? Single Buckaroo. Wait, which one is that from?
This is from Icon, a show in Iowa.
Oh, okay. How did you get Chuck
Adult 18 plus, and there is no audience of people who want to buy my books that I'm not willing to sell to. So
I would just like to say that Kevin McLaughlin had the best logical assertion that since I didn't know what a polar vortex was, you were obviously Chuck Tingle.
I'm not. How about that? How about that?
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm not.
There's an argument for you. Okay, let's see if we got any more questions before we start talking about our butts.
Not doing that.
It's not a good day when you have pants on because you're not getting words in. Words, man, words.
Yeah, really.
I've got some stuff done.
There,
organizing events. We have a lot of informal stuff, and we'll make on the 20 books to 50K Vegas Facebook group. There's various things for folks to start coordinating, and somebody has to take charge. This is self-publishing. We're responsible for ourselves, but somebody has to take charge and say, yes, I am the one going to do this. And then everybody else say, yeah, you can do it. And a lot of times when that happens, and this is, somebody said, why don't you make one, have a conference ready for 10,000? Well, every one of these I personally financially guarantee. So like Edinburgh, and I just told Michael this morning that Edinburgh finally, with the last few signups, thank goodness, we have hit the exact break-even point. So even with the fees, we've already collected enough in conference fees and the 10% cancellation rate for the extra rooms and stuff that we have and extra food that we had put on the contract. We're still okay. There's no out-of-pocket costs at this point. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who signed up for Edinburgh. Good on you. But I have to guarantee those funds, so I'm not guaranteeing funds for 10,000. And Bali was a shocker when
I know that was funny because Craig. So I'm along this trip, right, with what Craig is doing. I don't feel the stress nearly as much as he does because even though it's like, hey man, I'll do half with you, but my name's not on it. So if I welsh out, Craig has to do it. And but anyway, Bali was something when he's like, I just wrote a check for $75,000, or put another $50,000 on my credit card. Oh my God.
So, yeah, 6 months before I started taking signups. Yeah.
So,
so no, I'm not organizing a conference for 10,000. I'm not guaranteeing those kind of funds because that's probably a freaking $1 million that anybody would want to get. But 2,000 is eminently doable, and we can cover that. We can cover that in regards to getting everything set up. But a place like Sam's Town, actually, I didn't pay the initial deposit on that until September of last year. Like right now, I could pay the entire fee because people have signed up. And the reason we do sign up towards the end of March is I like everything in the same fiscal year because I pay taxes on it. So if I collect money in 2018, I get to pay taxes on it in 2018 and then deduct it in 2019. So that's like a double whammy of grief. And I don't want to do that. So we get the money in March. PayPal allows refunds up for 6 months, and it's a one-click easy. After that, you cannot give a refund through PayPal. You simply have to send the money. So now I don't get the whatever fee they charged, and at $140, the fee for that is $6 that they charge me. So I send it back. So I eat the $6 then, and there's no reason for that. So that's why it's 6 months. 6 months from when you banked your payment until you can get a refund. And then also we're kind of locked in with the hotel and trying to finalize details at that point, even though it's still a month and a half early. But still, I like having things done early because then it's so much easier to flex if something changes as opposed to waiting until the last minute and doing things at the last minute. And oh, by the way, things are going to change anyway. So,
well, the other part also,
changes.
You now have a good working relationship with everybody at Sam's Town. They understand who we are. I mean, even as much as, well, okay, they kind of knew who we are. But after the second event in November, just a few months ago, when everybody started booking their rooms a year in advance, a lot of the people in Sam's Town are like, who are these people? Because that shows a determination. And now, we're known to them.
Yeah.
And so that's we have
are.
to go somewhere else.
Because we're bringing those 3 days of the conference were down days. That's why they offered us such a great hotel rate. We've pretty much sold out of the hotel. I mean, onesie twosie, you may be able to call and get a room, but we've sold out the hotel and are bringing probably $400,000 into the hotel during those 3 days when those are down days for Vegas. So of course, Sam's Town is very accommodating. I mean, they're great to work with. They're easy to work with, and Bob's your uncle, even if he's not.
The karaoke, something happened with that. I think I was asleep or something when it all went down. Yes. Glad that Scotland's done. It is an amazing event, and I understand that people are doing cosplay events, requests that there's rumor about that. Do you know anything about that, Mr. Martelle?
I will not come as a dinosaur, as far as you know.
But do you know about the cosplay? Do you know about the cosplay sheet that's going around?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm good with it, though, and it's probably Michael Cooper, that guy.
I wasn't going to say anything because I'm like, it's third party, right? So I'm like, okay, but yes, I understand Mr. Cooper is sending around some cosplay stuff. And I'm
That's
like,
great.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. So
I don't want to become Dragon Con or Comic Con, but I do want to become the best indie conference in the world, and we're already there. And it only gets better with each day and with each new group that comes on board, and each new person who has an idea to help make us better, an idea that help makes us better without me having to do extra work. So keep that in mind if you PM me, hey, I had an idea. Here, are you willing to do the 400 hours worth of extra work for it? Yeah, I'm not. I'm sorry. So if you come with a good idea, be the one who's actually going to do all the work.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not, because it may seem like a good idea for this small thing, but overall it may open the floodgates towards things that we don't want.
Yeah.
And one thing that I know people would love to have a formal scholarship process, but I see that as a pitfall. If you want to buy somebody's ticket, that's great. But having a slush fund, I think I don't want to manage that. I don't want to put that in our responsibility. And I also don't want to be responsible for picking who gets to come, except for people I'm willing to pay for personally. And I've bought 6 plane tickets for people. I've paid for 13 rooms for people, me included. And I've bought 20 conference fees for people that I've paid for. So I personally am more than happy to give scholarships, and I look at people and I see how they interact on 20 books to 50K. I see who they are. And also, I was raised, I had a 1972 Mustang, a righteous car that my dad gave to me when I turned 16. And it was cool. I drove it. But you know what? I bought a 72 Mustang when I was 21, and I appreciated the one I bought so much more because I paid for it myself. And that's some people, you give them something, they don't really appreciate it. And yes, there are people who do. But if you can pay the conference fee, that minimal amount, your commitment, your ownership of that, you come and you're trying to get your most out of it. If you're given everything, you might come and say, well, there's too many people, and go hide in your room. But if you paid for it, you're going to be more willing to go downstairs and say, hey, I need to talk to people because I'm investing in my career. And that's why we try to keep it as inexpensive as possible. And I'm not going to use the word cheap because there's nothing cheap here. This is the highest quality presenters you're going to see. This is the some of the absolute best swag. We're going to give you a nice notebook this year, going to something more hardback, like moleskin kind of nice notebook, and a 4-color pen, which is probably worth its weight in gold or platinum. The and the people and the environment that you're going to get to be in is top notch. It's just, you can pay a lot more and you're going to get a lot less. So we try to keep it the most for the least, and we're going to keep it that way. And we're going to make it as professional as we can at all times.
So
and no, we're not going to have Chuck Tingle ribbons. I guess we
could. But yeah, if you're going to cosplay as Craig, you need to come with a Hawaiian shirt. If you're going to cosplay as me, it needs to be an all black shirt. It can be a T-shirt, typical, or the new LMBPN shirts, which have these. So that's easy to come as us. Really super simple. Just the individual. Let's see, Jessica Barney. You sent Craig a PM, so apparently you're signing up to do some stuff. If that was an idea. Interesting enough. I don't know why you have to look at that thing, man, because I'm just looking at Facebook and it shows up.
Yeah. I'm actually not hearing myself through Facebook. I have it up. So, Oh yeah. On somebody else helping. That's I thank you, Jessica. I'll address that separately.
So once again, I don't know. Did I talk about doing a local version of 20 books to 50K? I did, didn't I? But it was on the first one.
It was on the first one. We can go through it again. Deliver your vision.
Well, so here's my vision. And the vision is that this event is live streamed. And if what you're missing is the interaction, then do it locally. Why don't you come up, find out how can you show something but I will say this, it better be for no profit, because I will be substantially upset if someone's trying to create a profit on these things. And if you hear about people doing it, shut them down. But we are live streaming this situation or these events. And that means not just the main which is what we've done since the beginning, what Craig has done since the beginning, and that costs a lot of money to do. So the people who are at the event are helping support getting this information out around the world live. And now the breakout rooms are being done. So you're talking about a massive amount of content. And if you have two sticks to rub together to get 10 people and have an event, do it. It doesn't have to be at a hotel, although it could be. It could be at a restaurant where someone is like, hey, if you want to have 10 people hang out here all day, use our TV and, hook the internet up. It could be that. So don't limit just saying, let's make this a worldwide event where simultaneously around the world, we're all talking about indie stuff. Go
And
team.
what we're going to do is we'll have follow along guides for the breakout sessions, as many as possible. We'll have slides, a PDF of, hey, here's my presentation, a follow along guide. So you can have that. We'll publish the schedule. We'll try to finalize the schedule early enough that you can organize it. But it's basically planned 9 to 5 Vegas time, and it might be 8 to 5 because we have an awful lot of presentations that people want and panels that look like they're going to be well attended. So you'll see those. We'll have 3 different live streams simultaneously when there's the multiple sessions, and they'll all be on the 20 books to 50K Vegas group. We're going to put them there, not in the main 20 books group, even though I guess we could put them in the main 20 books to 50K group. And then they'll be archived later on YouTube. And anytime they're done live stream, the video is there the second that we start live streaming. You can go to the videos on the side panel if you're on a PC and pull those up and say, okay, here's the video. We'll have a naming convention so you know exactly what it is. And you can pull it up and watch it. You can do that. If you're at a time zone like Russia, it's 12 hours difference. So instead of noon, it's midnight.
How bad do you want to know?
Yeah. And what we're trying to do as well, what we really would like to do, and I'm not sure exactly how this will work, is a direct link with the people who are doing the videos for us. We'll have Ira and Jamie Davis are the AV team, and they're looking to recruit people to video in each of the breakout rooms, as well as I think they're handling the main room. And we'll have somebody there, probably a spouse, who is willing to come and make a little extra, get a buffet ticket or something. Somebody who can be had cheap, and video these for us. And they'll be able to see the questions that people might have from around the world while they're live streaming. So then they can take those and run those up. And if you're in Moscow, you might get your question asked while this is going on. So how good is that? And especially, we'd love to give priority to groups. Hey, we've got 5 people here in Moscow watching this, and we have this question. And something that we're doing as well is Vasily Mahanyenko is one of the top lit RPG authors in the world. He will be in Moscow, and he might be coming to the show. But if he's not, we're going to live stream him in, and we'll be presenting that, and then videoing it as well. So it'll be a double whammy. James Baldwin is going to make sure that happens. He's in charge to bring him to the Lit RPG panel, which you're on, Michael, by the way, if you didn't know. And
so one thing, well, in addition, I joke all the time because it's true. I'm the first person who has to pay money for these events because Craig always gets me to go in there and say, here, check this out. And now I'm smart enough to realize what the hell he's doing. But in the beginning, I didn't realize this, but it doesn't matter. So when it went live, when Craig put everything out, I contacted him through Slack and I said, hey, join this in Zoom. Let's enjoy the beginning of this together, because it's really been, it sounds like it's only been 2-3 years, but the reality is like it's been a lot of work to get to a point where we get to see, will this sell out in one day? That was really the goal. One day. Will it sell out in one day? 31 minutes later, it feels like we're counting down with Craig going, dude, you told about this in 31 minutes. But during this time, one of my sons who writes, was trying to figure out what he's doing. He missed it. He totally missed it. Now, he didn't want to contact Craig and ask, because that particular son is like, oh, I don't want to get on your, I don't want to ride your coattails. Well, I'm not riding my coattails. and I'm paying for it. So if you want a ticket, you know where Craig is. You've talked to him before. You go deal with it. And I find out later from Craig actually that Joey did actually contact him. Joey had to pay for it. I didn't pay for Joey's ticket to come. It's like if he thinks he wants to come, he is an adult, he's in college, he understands what he has to do. I make him do everything that we're asking other people to do as well. I don't do anything different. So he paid for his ticket to come.
Indeed, indeed, and the second tier, that was a great ad to get us from 850 to 1,000. We're, I mean, overwhelmed. It is amazing. It is amazing what this conference has become, and the energy. I thought last year when we moved rooms, we went from 400 people to 700 people. That it would be that it might detract from the overall show, but it was even better. It was 700 people better as opposed to 400 people good, which that was great too. I mean, Veggie Garden Films, Jim did a great video that from 2017 to show the energy and the excitement, and it was even better in 2018. And I was surprised because there were so many people, and that late night dinner with Richard Fox that I was dying on the second. I mean, I was dying on the second day because we had this dinner and it was cool and neat. But I got back to my room at midnight and I got up at 3. So yeah, don't do that. No. I'm not going anywhere outside Samstown when this is live. I get in on Saturday and I leave on Saturday, so I'm staying an extra day because last 2 years I left on Friday morning, and that was way too much. So I was dead for the whole weekend. But
so we got Ping Pong Saturday during that time, though, right?
We're going to go Saturday night. Okay. Unless we can get there earlier, and the limo that I got from the airport, thanks to Judith, we'll stop by In-N-Out Burger on the way.
You should live stream that. That's hilarious.
This is Michael and I. We have this thing. If we fly to the other's house, you have to get a limo. So Michael flew into Adelaide, and we got him a limo. I got him a Tesla, and he's like, "Damn it!" It felt like I one-upped him.
It was fun. It is funny about that. But yeah, so Craig comes into town for these things, and Judith is she just makes sure that there's someone there that says Craig Martelle on a sign. He is treated like the man that we respect.
Well, that's I think that's neat. But anyway, we digress. Pens and notebooks. We'll probably keep it just to pens and notebooks. I'm not going to do backpacks this year. Because with 1,000 of anything, we're counting on Jim Slater's largesse and his spare bedroom to store this stuff as we buy it. Because once again, I buy it way early, and we have it there. So probably pens and notebooks are the main thing. Those will be the easiest to give out and manage. And if we have 1,000 people registered, which we do, then we'll probably buy 1,100 or 1,200 pens. And hey, I was talking to Michael last week, and I said, I cleaned off my bed that I have behind me here, and I found a bag of 20 books, 2017 pens, and a bag of 4-color 2018 pens. So I might bring those, and for the willing and the most deserved, that may be your thing, is get a 2017 pen and a 2018 pen to go with your new 2019 pen.
You know, we were going to do the Apple Air Energy thing but they canceled it. So sorry, everyone.
Oh man, power through
air power.
Pens, notebooks. Actually, I'm going to shave this off. It's getting itchy as hell now that it's the snow is melting.
Yeah,
English writers in Italy. That would be cool. Slides. We really want to get slides. We're trying to do that for.
Patrice.
Trying to get slides for every presentation. Last year, I think we only had slides for 3 presentations. First year, I strong-armed everybody, and we had slides for all the presentations. Even though a couple presenters completely changed their presentation, but at least we had something.
I've never done slides.
No. I don't expect them from Michael.
I will certainly work. I'd like to know, certainly the Ask Me Anything is an opportunity to ask me all the weird stuff. And it's my effort when talking to Craig to say that I feel like, not enough people who would like to get a chance to ask me questions get to. So that's why I asked, can I have a late night breakout room? And I did it late night because I'm like, I only want the people who are really determined to be there because otherwise,
Yeah.
it might fill up for
Or,
no good reason.
or drunks.
I didn't actually think about that part. Thank you for that concern now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's the drunk people. But it's
actually,
when it's. I think we have you on the hook for Wednesday, or
Wednesday
is
at
it?
10 p.m., right?
Yeah, Wednesday
I
at
think
10, something like that.
Yeah, and Craig, I mean, he did mention the fact, and I understand there are going to be people who would like to meet me, who are going to be just because of where they're at in the world when they fly in, just that. And I'll try to figure out something to do eventually. But this was my first effort to allow everybody. And the real answer was, I know that when people get done at 5, a lot of them have meetings and suppers and everything else. And it was my ability to let everybody go do what they want, and then if they still wanted a chance to chat with me, well, 10 o'clock seemed like a good time.
Yeah,
Split the
and as
difference between too late and Craig's idea of too early.
and I think of myself as nobody. The blue collar author. I write books. I write good books, escape fiction. I'd like to say that I write great books, but that's not for me to say. That's for the readers to say. And but it's still I'm like everybody else there. I want to learn. I want to take some lessons away. I want to shake some hands with some good people, and that's why I included the picture of me with Dean Wesley Smith this morning, just because what the hell. But I know that people want to come up and say hi, and I know, and I hear from people saying, "Hey, I was too scared to come say hi to you." I'm just like everybody else, and I'm surprisingly I am wearing pants today, and thank God, as I didn't think about that when I stood to get that badge. But uh, the we're just like everybody else, but with 1,000 people, we don't get the opportunity to say hi to everybody. But if we're there and we're free and not in the bathroom, please say hi and just tell us a thing or two that motivates you about 20 books of 50K, because there's nothing that motivates us more than hearing how you've improved your marketing. You've gone from $5 a month to $20 a month with no additional spend. And the wins, we celebrate wins with people like nobody's business. Your win is just as important to us as our wins. And that's what we want to hear. We want to keep getting more and more excited about these events, and 20 books of 50K as a whole, as a group that is changing the landscape for self-published authors. You get the opportunity. I know a lot of people who are still fixated on trying to get the trad pub contract, and they're sitting on books. Oh, I've sent my 4th book to my agent and he's shopping it around, and holy shit, how long are you going to sit there not making money off a good book because you want trad pub, where then you're not going to make money again? So you might as well just embrace your day job and love it, because you're going to be stuck with it a long time going that route. Very few people get that 6-figure advance. And you do see stories. That's why they pop up in national news. Hey, somebody got a 7-figure advance for their debut novel. Well, if you dig deep, they know somebody in the industry, and it's not really a debut novel, and it's not any of us. As the blue collar author, I'm not getting a 7-figure deal from anybody. Uh, and now they couldn't get me with 7 figures because, hey, I'll make that on my own. So have a nice day. And thank you. We'll take up the space on Amazon advertising that you wish you had.
Yeah. So I mean, I respect everybody's mountain that they want to climb and what they want to do. And for those that wish to do this, all I ever said in the beginning is, hey, come on over here. We're going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about the business side, because there's plenty of places to go talk about the other stuff. And don't be a jerk when you do it. That's it. You know. So that has struck a nerve, and that's really cool. So it is.
Somebody asked a question about allowing allowing author pages in the 20 books to 50K group. Right now, we don't physically have that capability. Facebook didn't turn that on for us. Whatever our settings are, that's not an option, so we can't allow that. We can't allow that because it's not allowable, simply because we don't have that option. And yes, we know where it is. We know other groups, and we know exactly. We've seen the screenshots. Hey, it should be right here. Well, we don't have that option. And still, I'm not a fan of that. I know some people want to maintain their anonymity, and I understand. But as fellow authors, I am terrified of people being so anonymous that they can join the group and then wreak havoc. Even though we shut them down in a hurry, I'd rather people say, "Hey, like me, my name's Craig, and I write books," as opposed to, "Hey, we did." I have to come clean on Bella Forest. One of the Bella Forest's cover artists is coming to 20 Books 50K. Was not allowed on a conference call. Was not allowed to hear her or his voice or see him or her face. So I think it might be James Patterson.
That's right. Well, I keep trying to put that out there. We'll see what it is. But, there's a lot of different conflicting ones. Kevin McLaughlin has an idea. Others have said that it could
Amazon
be an
has an
Amazon
idea.
person. Yeah, Amazon has an idea. So, we'll see what's non-anonymous author pages.
But we'll add more to that mystery. And I don't know if that's true or not. I appreciate being told it because that's cool. That's cool stuff. It's the guy with the bag over his head.
Yeah.
Is there an option for smokers where to smoke? Fucking Vegas, man. Anywhere in the slot machines. But some people went right to the edge of the slot machines, which you had to walk around to get to the bathroom. I would ask go in a little further, so the smoke doesn't linger right there where people are trying to get to the bathroom.
Yeah, just be recognized. There's a lot of places to smoke in Vegas. We would just ask that you would do it not in the main concourse where people have to go through the smoking area, because that is probably the biggest issue that we ask about Sam's Live, and smoking is in every hotel. As far as I know, the hotels that try to go non-smoking, to the best of my knowledge, had to shut down. Yeah, so it's everywhere.
There are non-smoking rooms, non-smoking floors in Sam's Town. And I think we got most of those rooms. Unfortunately, not everybody, people are going to check in and not everybody's going to get a non-smoking room, which would be most misfortunate. There are people like me who are definitely allergic to cigarette smoke. So Sam's Town will do everything they can to accommodate. And I think they like their rooms mostly smoke-free. Every room I was in, I visited a lot of people. I never once smelled a smoky room. So I think Sam's Town really goes overboard to make sure that they keep it as smoke-free as possible. Yeah, we can't do anything with author pages. Stop asking about author pages. I don't like you anymore.
Yes, you do. Stop
okay,
being
I do.
Way.
I do. I'm not going to be that way. But no, we can't. No author pages allowed because we can't.
Yeah. So it's done. Okay, so I think we're kind of there for the most part.
Yeah, for round 2. Thanks for hanging with us. We appreciate it. And
moving to Saturdays ish.
Yeah, we'll move to Saturdays. Michael is going to take Sunday off. Thank God. Everybody should take at least one day off a week. See, that's what people don't understand. If you do what you love, you never have to work a day in your life. Yes, what you do is you work every day of your life. You never ever have a day off if you're doing what you love, and that's my boat. I work every day, and there are some days, but like yesterday, I was outside with my dog for an hour and a half because it was nice. And on the 29th, on registration day, I spent about 8 hours on messaging, answering questions, and doing as much as I could. And I still got 4,000 words written. So Friday was a huge day. Got a book finished, and yesterday got a set of rules finished. Got other stuff done. Got my taxes done. So you can do all this stuff. You can do stuff, but it helps to take time off. You have to re-energize your mind. And also, my oxygen generator came in yesterday. That was a big bonus. I now have a certified oxygen generator.
What does that do?
It instead of 19% oxygen, whatever normal air, I can pump it up to 90% and get an oxygen injection to help because of my lung problems to give me some extra O2.
Excellent. Okay, now that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
All right, folks. Bye.
Peace, fellow humans. Ending broadcast.